Murder, She Watched contains adult themes and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Murder, She Watched is for entertainment purposes only. Hello, couch detectives. Welcome to Murder, She Watched, the podcast where we solve murders from our couches. My name's Amye Archer. I'm your host. I'm here today with my co-host, Becca, who has graciously agreed to cover this documentary with me.
This
Are
was
you
a
mad
tough
at me
one.
yet? Are you ready to quit yet?
No. I actually want to say I do appreciate it because I knew high level. Obviously, I knew what had happened. I knew the victims, but I did not really know anything about the case at all because I really was. My children are these children's age.
Yeah.
And it just same with you. It was really hard. Even watching this, I see my son's friends. I see my sons. It was really hard, but
it was so heartbreaking in so many different ways. Is there a moment going through this documentary, and we're talking about the Idaho Murders College Nightmare, guys, that just came out on Netflix. Is there a moment going through this that like you were like that felt the saddest to you? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I had this weird thing where I'm watching it, and then when Kaylee's mom talks about, right, Christy? Yes.
Yeah.
When Christy talks about how Maddie's mom was going down and was like, I'm gonna cry saying it.
Yeah.
Was like, I got the girls, they're good. I was sobbing. I don't know why that moment hit me like it did.
No.
But sobbing. I'm tearing up now talking about it.
When for me, it was when and it's pronounced, I want to make sure I say it correctly. It's Xana, correct? It's Xana?
Yes, Xana.
Okay. When Xana's father said that he was at the other sister's college and it was parents' weekend and he was going to go there that night to sleep at the house, but he had too many drinks and he was like, that's not safe. You can't drive. But him just knowing that he was supposed to be there, like, I don't know. And that to know,
I know.
Yeah, that she was afraid at the end and he could have been there. Like, that's heartbreaking, like,
I know.
sorry.
Guys, we're gonna cry.
We're gonna cry.
It's just let it flow. Let it flow.
Yeah.
Let it flow.
I thought I for me, and I know I've seen some discord online about this documentary. For me, this is the first one I've watched. So
yeah, it's the only one I've watched.
It's my only point of reference, and I thought it was beautifully done. Except I have some issues.
I do too.
But I thought I got to, for me in the beginning, I think it was like the first 3 minutes where you see all these kids and their kids alive and full of life in these videos, and it's the last day.
I know.
That's really hard.
I know. It's, for me, it was, I'm glad, I really trust Skye Borgman. We talk about her a lot, and she's not perfect. I'm sure there's things that people can pick up and pick apart with her work. But for me, this was a nice entry point to this.
Yes.
Because it felt, I know that her work is often victim centric. And I felt this was here too. Now, we didn't hear from Ethan's parents and we didn't hear from Maddie's parents. But from what I understand, they were in the other documentary that was released a while back.
After watching this, I did watch the very first 2020 that they did right after this happened, when they were still building the case type of thing. For some reason, I can't find the date lines. I heard there's 2 really good date lines.
Okay.
They're not on Peacock, so I couldn't watch them. His parents are in that, and they speak a lot. I think it feels like the parents are each giving each other their turn to speak. I don't, if that makes sense.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I know that, look, whatever's going on between the parents, I don't know if they all get along. I don't know if there's issues. I don't judge any of their reactions to any of this. They have carte blanche to act however they want, in my opinion. They've been through a nightmare, a literal nightmare. So however they process it and deal with it in their own lives, like, that's, who are we to say?
Yeah. And you know what I this is something that's a known, and I've known this before, but I really felt it watching this documentary. We don't have any respect for victims' families. Like
Mm.
when the family was going to walk to the courthouse and you see the eldest daughter hold her mother's hand and say, "We're going to do this. We're going." And she
Hmm.
grabs her parents and she pushes forward, and it's just like lights, cameras. "Oh, well, how do you feel about today?"
I
And
know.
it's
I
like,
know.
these are people who are traumatized every day. And like, gosh, just,
Hmm.
let them be. Let them
I
be.
know. So, as you guys know, the Idaho Murders aired on Netflix. It's directed by Sky Borgman. Like I said, Joe Berlinger is involved in it in some way. I think he's executive producer or something.
Yeah.
The surviving roommates are Dylan and Bethany. We hear from them quite a bit. The victims, as we know, were Xana, Ethan, Maddie, and Kaylee. In this documentary, we hear from a lot of their friends. We hear from Kaylee's parents, Steve and Christy, and her sister Olivia, she could be a couch detective. I'm gonna say she could
Oh,
lead us. I would follow her blindly.
the respect, admiration,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I just in awe of this woman. Like, she's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Yeah.
And we also hear from Xana's sister Jasmine, who's great too, and
Beautiful girl. Yeah.
Xana's father, Jeff,
Yeah.
in this documentary. All right, let's do it, shall we? Um,
Let's begin.
in episode 1, we open with, a little background of the University of Idaho, Moscow. It's in Moscow, Idaho. There's
Hmm.
12,000 students. So that's pretty big.
It's pretty big. And
Yeah.
it looks like a movie set college, right? Like everything you think
Yeah.
college is, this place looks like that.
It's one of those towns, and I went to a school like this. I went to Penn State main campus, where like it feels like the whole town revolves around the college.
Yes.
Like the college is the main event there, right?
Yes.
So the girls all lived on King Street, and they were all pi phis. I can't. I'm lost with the sororities and the Greek stuff, guys. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
But I
All
think Xana was a different sorority.
all except for Kaylee.
Oh,
Kaylee
it was
was a different
Kaylee.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
And Kaylee and Maddie were best friends. Ethan and Xana were a couple. They were both the life of the party. They were very much in love. Ethan, oh God, this just hurts my heart so bad. I don't know why, but Ethan was a triplet.
Yeah.
And oh God, I just think like if something happened to one of my girls, the other one would just be. I mean, I think that's true of anything, but there's something
Yeah.
about that twin
No,
triplet
it's a different
bond.
bond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I found out he was A
Oh,
in the,
baby A. Mm-hmm.
and his parents always said he was the ringleader. He would get them to
Mm-hmm.
do things. He was like the oldest brother in the group.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. His brother was with him on campus. They were together, and he was a triplet. These kids are all very early 20s,
Yeah.
ready to face the world, ready to go out there and do their thing.
Yeah.
All right. So now we get to November 13th, 2020, or 2022, and we hear the 11:56 a.m. 911 call. I want to talk to you about the use of body cam here because
Mm.
I struggled with it,
I did too.
and I'm curious how you felt about it.
It felt at times too intimate. I
I
wasn't
agree.
supposed to see that.
I agree.
And I appreciated that we do blur people's faces so we're not seeing their pain in that moment. Like
But
when
we're
the
still
group of,
hearing it.
but we're hearing it and we're
Yeah.
seeing, there's something about the body cam footage of those girls standing there
Yep.
with
No,
just t-shirts on and no shoes and a blanket over her. Like, we're
I
not
didn't.
supposed to
I
see that.
I didn't feel like we earned the right to see that
Um,
as just viewers.
no, and I actually looked at an article. I want to pull it up really, really quick.
Okay.
Um, with Sky Borgman, and why she kind of justified the reasonings for why she did that.
Okay.
And she feels that what she did in this documentary is a new form of style of documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And she felt that it was important to show the victims and be victim centric and she wanted it to be like from the eye of one of the students that night, and to build up the feeling, what they were feeling, and the only way she could do that was through the body cam footage she felt.
Okay.
And I guess
I
she got a
mean,
lot of
I respect that,
exclusive
but
cell phone footage from students that I guess was never seen before. And so she felt like it was a duty to show that point of view.
I feel like the other students responding and stuff like that, and even let's go as far as even the police going into the house, I felt like, okay, this is appropriate.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's the when you're seeing these surviving roommates,
Yeah.
they've been through they're at their absolute worst right there. That is probably the lowest point of their lives.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be invited into that. I don't know. I understand what Sky Borgman's saying, and I do think
Yeah.
body cam footage in documentaries is becoming a norm. And it
Mhm.
worked really well in The Perfect Neighbor, which is one of the first. We covered that here if you want to hear
Yeah.
it. It was one of the first uses of it in a gratuitous way, like so much of it, right?
Mhm.
But I think that was important because we needed to see what the murderer, like
Yeah.
how she was with the cops when they were responding, because that informed the narrative.
Yes. We needed the police officer's point of view from walking into there each time. Yeah.
Yes. This didn't inform the narrative, in my
No.
opinion. I don't
You
know.
know
I
what I
know
also
I'm
didn't
kind
need?
of harsh on these things, but I'm going to tell you right now, if that was one of my daughters, God forbid,
I
and
wouldn't
she
want
was
it.
on the curb crying, having just discovered her best friend murdered, I would not want that in a documentary.
No.
I just wouldn't.
You know what I also didn't need? There were a couple of scenes from the police video surveillance in the police station when they had the students
Yeah.
come in, and it was Kaylee's ex-boyfriend who was sitting on the chair, and they just show him. You don't see his face, but you know it's him. And the way he's sitting in that chair, it was like I can't
Mm-hmm.
explain it verbally, but
Mm-hmm.
he's crumpled up in it,
Mm-hmm.
but fully sitting in it, but on the edge, if that makes sense. And it
That
felt
makes sense.
so sad that I didn't there what did that I understand it's sad. I don't
Yeah.
need that to make
Yeah.
me sadder.
I just think we're really leaning towards more of a voyeuristic society, and I don't know if that needs to extend to
Yes.
true crime.
That's how I felt. You
Yeah.
just put a word on it. Thank you. It
Yeah.
felt, yes.
So that's my TED talk on body cam footage. If it fulfills the narrative, if it helps illustrate a point,
Yeah.
then I agree with it. But some of this felt a little gratuitous. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. You know that, I'm normally super detailed in my notes and stuff like that. There's a lot of this, like this whole first episode, I held my breath. It felt like the whole episode.
Oh, I had clenched jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it took me probably 4 days to watch 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hard at times.
So like
Yeah.
if there's a detail we missed or something like that, please, let us know. We're not doing it purposely. It's just I
Yeah.
kind of had to watch. I don't know. It just felt like a weird experience. And I even said to Becca, we were supposed to record next week. I'm like, I need to record tomorrow because I can't watch this again.
And I said, please, yeah, because usually I watch everything twice. I'm like, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can't.
Mm-mm.
And at one point, I was laying in bed on my iPad or my laptop watching this, and just tears pouring down my face.
Yeah.
And Steve goes, I don't know if you can podcast with Amy anymore.
Steve, stop harshing our mellow. All right. So I just took some things that are of note from this body cam stuff. Okay.
Mhm.
They do see size 13 footprints leading back and forth out of the
Oh,
slider
that
door.
officer was good. And he
Mhm.
stood there, and he didn't know if it was evidence or not, but he was gonna protect it. Yeah.
And I want to say too, the day that you guys hear this, Timmy and I literally are moving our daughter into college. So like it is not lost on me that they're getting their first apartments because they were on campus last year. They're off campus. And I'm watching this and I'm immediately like, do you have a slider door? Do you have a deadbolt on the front? Like this is tough.
Yeah.
So a friend Hunter comes over. Now there's some confusion and I got some clarification on this.
Okay.
We hear the 911 call from Bethany and we hear Hunter in the background. And she's saying, our friend's not waking up. Our friend's not waking up. And she thinks it's an overdose, right? And people are
Yeah.
like, how is this happening? This happened because Hunter, this fucking hero, came
Yeah.
over, went upstairs, saw what he saw, right? He saw Kaylee and Maddie, I think, in
Yeah.
the bed together, and told Bethany, go downstairs, get out of the house. Stay. He kept those girls
Yeah.
from seeing this. So they didn't know what was happening. So that's why she's sort of reporting like it looks like an
Yeah.
overdose. Yeah.
And you see him when the police come, he the moment he walks in, he kind of puts his hands up in the house and he goes, I don't want to
Mhm.
touch anything, but I
Mhm.
did touch this. And he's like,
Yeah.
for what he just experienced as a
Mhm.
young man,
Mhm.
he was so good with those police officers that morning.
I agree.
Yeah.
They call, so the police find everybody and they call in Anthony Dollinger from the chief of Moscow, or the chief of police from Moscow. I liked this guy.
Yes.
And I appreciate it at the end where he's talking about, like, I had to go seek help. And in my
Yeah.
community, that's not, you know,
I
really encouraged.
I really, and I didn't do a deep dive on this guy, so I only know from
Mhm.
this documentary.
Right. We don't know if he's a problem
Yeah.
outside of the documentary.
But I had a lot of respect for him that he knew this is outside of our depth and we need all the help. There was
Yeah.
no
They
pissing
called in the
contest.
FBI, the state
Yes.
police. There were no egos in this, to
Yes.
my knowledge, to what we see on the screen.
At what we see in this
Hmm.
documentary. Yeah.
He says it was immediately apparent all of them were stabbed to death. So the way that this house was set up, it was sort of like my first house that I lived in, where it was like built into a mountain. So like,
Mm.
or a hill. So like when you come onto the main floor, it's actually the second floor,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So the main floor is in the middle, and there were two bedrooms there, and one is where they found Xana and Ethan together. The third floor had two bedrooms, and in one together they found Kaylee and Maddie. And then there was a fifth bedroom. So on that second floor also, I think was Bethany, and I think Dylan was in the basement, if I have it right.
Yeah.
They find blood throughout the house, and they also find a knife sheath on the third floor with Kaylee and Maddie.
Yeah.
They questioned Dylan, and I wrote, we should not be seeing this. We should
No.
not be seeing this.
No.
The girl's hysterical. Like, just tell us what she said. We don't
Yeah.
need to see it.
Just give me a transcript over the screen of
Yeah.
something or
Yeah.
have it play out differently. I don't need to hear her tell me what she
No,
experienced.
this
I don't
poor
know.
girl.
Yeah.
Bethany and Dylan say that Maddie and Kaylee were at the club until closing. Dylan said she heard a scream and she heard Kaylee run downstairs because she saw someone. Dylan thinks, so Dylan must be on that second floor, sorry. Dylan thinks she heard Kaylee scream, someone's here. And then Dylan jumped up and locked her door because she was scared. She heard Kaylee crying, and she heard a voice saying, I'm here to help you. It's going to be okay.
But it wasn't a helpful voice. And yeah.
The things that I want to happen to Brian Koberger are, I can't even speak them here because you guys would probably just be stunned at me. Dylan tried calling Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee on their phones. No one answered. She got up. She opened the door and she saw this man all in black walk past her. They locked eyes, like eye contact was made. He goes out the side door. She was on the main floor. She texted Bethany and got a hold of her. And Bethany said, come down. And they hunkered down in the room. Hunter Johnson was their friend's boyfriend who lived next door. They called him to come over. And he was the one who found Ethan and Xana. Even the cops, like when they're hearing this, are like, holy shit, Dylan is lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
And then we get into why didn't they call 911 for 8 hours? Was it 8 hours?
It was about, Well, I had this conversation this weekend with some children of this age.
Okay.
We have to remember they have went to school and have been training for something there since these kids were in the first grade now.
Mm-hmm.
That's my son Grayson. When he was in the first grade, that's when Sandy Hook happened, and that's when active shooting drills first started.
Yep. Yep.
And at first, the school that we were going to didn't want to scare the children.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we're going to train for a scary dog. What if a mean dog got on campus? And then the school realized, actually,
We're teaching them to be afraid of dogs.
yeah, like, and then like a psychologist came, like,
Yeah.
oh, we can't do that. So we had
Mm-mm.
to actually use the language that was
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah.
These children have been having active shooting drills since the first grade.
And
They have
they're
been
taught
taught
hunkered down.
to stay
Mm-hmm.
hidden, as
Mm-hmm.
small and as quiet, and do
Yep.
not get out until somebody comes for you.
Yes. 100%.
That has been ingrained into their mind since the first grade.
Yeah.
Add that, let's be honest, at a night of drinking,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
pure panic shock trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything to say about the fact that they did not call so soon.
I agree with you. My daughter was in the kitchen yesterday and she heard me kind of watching this and she's like, "What are you watching?" So I was talking to her about it a little bit.
Mhm.
And I said, because I don't want to scare them. So I don't know how much they know about this, but turns out my one daughter, she knows everything about it.
Yeah, of course.
And I said, "What do you think about them not calling 911?" And she goes, "Mom, she was probably terrified."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, but if you're terrified, shouldn't you call 911?" Because I was just kind of, I was playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
And she was like, she was probably afraid someone would hear her calling them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that too. That's also, so I think all of those things combined, you're exactly right.
It's, we can all sit here and say we think we're going to know how to act when something happens.
Mm-mm.
But me personally, I've never been a 20-year-old girl living in a house and had something horrible like this happen to me. So I don't know how I would act.
You're 100%, you're 100% right. And I'm appreciative that Christy and Steve say, like, we asked the coroner.
Yes.
And it would not have made a difference. So there's that.
And it was crazy. Like, you see, like, after the murders take place, the online speculation.
Mm-hmm. It's wild.
Wild.
So one of the missteps of really of the school here is that the school puts out a vandals alert. So their team name and stuff is the Vandals. They're the University of Idaho Vandals, I guess. And they put out an alert saying there was a homicide on campus. And Blaine Eccles, he's the dean of students, and he's like, "This is protocol. And I understand where they're coming from." Because let me tell you something. I've been on college campuses when we've gotten these kind of alerts. And I've been on college campuses when we should have gotten this kind of alert and didn't. And I was like a maniac about it. So, like, I do understand. I'm trying to think of the lens of a parent, right?
Yeah.
Should they have said homicide? Maybe
Could
not, but they definitely needed to say there's been an incident on Kings Road. Please shelter in place. That's what they should have said.
Couldn't they have said, like, there's police activity on Kings Road, shelter in place until further notice? Like, I think the language that they used,
the fact that they said homicide,
and at least in this documentary, it felt like the police were really blindsided by this.
they were.
Yeah.
And what happened is this spreads like wildfire on TikTok, social media, and now the sisters and families start to, like, my kid lives on Main Street. If I hear Main Street in X town, I'm going to be totally freaked out, especially if I can't get a hold of them.
No.
Oh God. Oh. That just sent chills down my spine.
And you're looking at their location and it says they're at home. Oh.
Xana has an older sister, Jasmine, who went to Washington State University. Washington State University is only 7 miles away over the border. Yeah. And she and her dad, Jeff, are in the documentary. And Jeff says, I started making my way there immediately.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the mother is or what that situation is. And it's not really pertinent here. But the way that Jeff says, like, or maybe Jasmine says it, like, it's always just been the three of us. It's always just been the three of us. Oh. So Jeff heads there. They take him to the police station. They inform him about Xana's death. And the chief of police says, this was the hardest notification I've ever had to give. Like, this set of notifications here.
Yeah.
That's another thing about the body cam that I want to just say quickly. I forgot to say it.
I know what you're going to say.
We are not trained to be first responders. When you're a first responder, you sign up for this. You get a certain amount of training. Hopefully you're getting support, when you're traumatized. I mean, these guys are my heroes for walking
Yeah.
into this kind of stuff all the time. We're not trained for that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I literally was thinking to myself, I don't know how to handle this sort of trauma that I'm seeing.
You're now asking me to become a first responder.
Exactly. It felt
You
like
know,
first
like,
responder, yeah, vicariously
yeah,
first, and
like
that's
cosplay first responder.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
how vicarious trauma happens.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say we did not need to see when we get the police lobby footage of each parent going in to
I
be
know.
notified. I
I
didn't need
know.
that
It's
either.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
choices were made, and maybe you guys will push back and disagree, and we're open for that other point of view. Let us know.
Yeah. Maybe we're being too sensitive about it.
Yeah. So Steve and Christy are Kaylee's parents, and this is really hard. She talks a lot about Kaylee and Maddie and how they grew up together, and it's so hard.
They're just
Sorry, it's just bringing something up
they're
in
just
me.
best
Mhm.
friends, two girls since the 6th grade, like
Mhm.
planned to go to college together. Like it was just, they were peas and
Mhm.
carrots.
Maddie's mom, Karen, and Christy were on the phone, and she's like, "I got her. We're on our way." This
Yeah.
just is
It's
so
really
sad.
hard. It like you at this point, do you have like you don't even know what's going on. You just know you have to get to your kids. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Christy says, "I knew in my heart that she was gone."
Yeah.
It's just, ugh. All right. So at one point, Kaylee's ex boyfriend Jack comes over, and this is really upsetting too. And
Oh,
I'm sure as a mom of boys, like this struck something in you because immediately he's a suspect, right? And unfortunately, that's where we're
some
at. And
that's
this
where we're
kid
at.
did
Yeah.
nothing wrong. It
It's
was really
sometimes
tough.
hard to be a 90s girl feminist and raise two boys because I
Yeah.
always want to tell them we're believing women, but also
Yeah.
be careful, boys. You know?
Right. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
This guy was, I understand. I don't think the police did anything. It's just the world we live in,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that you got to look at the ex boyfriend.
And unfortunately, social media was the one who kind of tried to rip him apart more than the police did.
Yeah.
It seemed like the police were able to clear him pretty quickly.
Yeah. He comes over. He's like, and I appreciated like them showing. So, okay, here's an example. Like this police footage, I felt okay with. Like him coming over,
Yeah.
what's going on, you know what I mean? And then them saying, like, I thought it was important to show. So here's a good example, right? It was important to show that he was saying things like, I don't give a shit about my dog. I'm worried about Kaylee.
Yeah.
Like, how is she? I felt that that was important because it helps illustrate the point that he had good intentions.
Yeah.
So that
And
was
you
necessary.
you find out that they were still like it was just young love. It wasn't like a
Hmm.
bad marriage
Hmm.
breakup type of situation.
Yeah, they dated from high school and they went to college together.
Yeah, like she used to call him if she was walking home and felt a little weird. And
Yep.
it
Yep.
was, I mean, he has the dog today. Like he
Yeah.
took Murph. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, he was a good guy.
Um, okay. So Bailey is Kaylee's friend, and she's like, she was getting ready to like start her life. She had a big job in Austin, and they broke up because they agreed, like they were kind of going separate ways. And
Yeah.
then we see Kaylee's sister, Olivia, which the spelling I could not figure out what was happening here because I thought it was alive. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, I thought it might have been like like I know the letters don't match, but something more closely like an Alondra-esque
Yeah.
type of name.
Yeah.
But then I heard it. I had to actually go and listen to hear somebody say it.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. So she gets in the car with her husband and kids. She's, by the way, I don't know if they say this, but she's pregnant when this
Yes.
happens. She
And she's
gave
in
birth to her daughter,
LA.
yeah, 3 months
Yeah.
later. And she gets the password for Kaylee. So this girl launches into couch detective mode.
Yep.
She gets the password for Kaylee's phone. She's going through it. She sees a bunch of calls to Jack, missed calls to Jack
Hmm.
at like 2:27, 2:28, 2:30. So she shares this, I'm sure, with law enforcement because they're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
They do eventually clear Jack because multiple people verify his alibi. And he, as you said, explains that a lot of times she would call him if she was on her way home from the bar. And
Yeah.
who hasn't given the ex-boyfriend a drunken phone call here and there?
Yeah. And her parents in this documentary, you know, like, we stand behind him. He's a wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Episode 2, the investigation begins. So at the station, Bethany says Kaylee had mentioned that about a month earlier, she was taking the dog out to pee and she could have sworn she saw someone across the street watching her. Oh, God. And I just watched, let me get this right. Hold on. I was watching before we started recording an interview. Brian Enton interviewed defense expert Cy Ray,
Mm-hmm.
and Kaylee's dad Steve was on the call, and so was Olivia. And he was talking about, and it gets very into the weeds. I'll share the link in our Facebook group, Couch Detectives. But he believes that Koberger was in that house before, and had
Before
like,
that day, before that night.
yes, and was familiarized himself with the house, knew the layout of the house, and had been kind of stalking them.
I mean, from my slight research and what I've figured out, or not I figured out, but the world has figured out, it seems like that, because
Yeah,
I think there was a chase and he knew the way. And
it's horrifying.
in the 2020 I watched, there was an interview with Christy, and she says that a week, like a week and a half before the murders, Kaylee was in a self-checkout and called her mom and said, "There's this person just kind of staring at me." And never made a comment, never like reported it or anything, but she was in the self-checkout, creeped out because somebody was like intensely staring at her.
See, now if I were the cops, I would try to find that CCTV footage.
Yeah. And maybe they have, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So first, let me back up. I'm sorry. Dylan also says that a week before this happened, they got home and their door was broken and open. Did I tell you that my daughter's roommate moved in a little bit early, and she has reported that the front door lock doesn't work? And so this kid has like a couch pushed up against the door.
And no one's fixed it yet?
Well, she texted the landlord, so I'm like, oh no.
No.
I'm calling the landlords. I called the landlord. I'm like, this is an emergency.
Yeah,
Get over there and fix the fucking lock now.
We have young college girls living in your apartment building.
Yes,
fix it.
Yes, I also requested a deadbolt because it doesn't have a deadbolt. It just has a.
You know,
lock.
I have made this warning many a times. I told my son when he got his first job, please make sure you're safe here, because I don't want to have to ruin Century movie theaters worldwide.
Yes.
So please, landlords, don't make me burn down your house.
No, I agree with you. Like, this is, you have to
get it together, fix this. This is serious.
So when they were talking about, like, sometimes we lock the slider, sometimes we don't. No. You lock that slider and you put a stick in there.
Yeah. I feel they probably just felt so safe, though.
I know.
And what, we take that away from them? Like, it's so hard.
So like I said, they accept the help of the FBI, which I love this, the state police. They create a timeline and they say Saturday was the last home game of the year, their football team. Kaylee and Maddie were going, and I'm going to cry again. It's everything with Christy. It's everything around Kaylee's mother. She tells this story about how, like, she bought Kaylee some succulents, and Kaylee called her and told her this cute little story about the succulents, and she said, like, we're gonna go out tonight, Mom, and she's like, okay, love you guys. Like, it's just so,
it's just so normal. You don't. It's. I feel like there probably was nothing that seemed out of the ordinary that day.
Nope.
I didn't. And I almost feel so silly that I didn't know this, but the photo that we always see of all of these kids
was that day.
Is that afternoon.
I didn't know it either, Becca.
And I was just like,
this case is a hot stove to me. Like, I couldn't go near it for a long time. Yeah.
They didn't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Ethan went to a sorority party with this, and his sister's catching some strays in this documentary, because we say 18 times how she didn't have a date to the sorority party. I'm like, this poor girl.
No, and even the 2020 was like really dug it in. It's like, gee.
Okay, got it. So he met up with Xana afterwards. They did some partying too. Maddie was there. So then Maddie and Kaylee go to the club. It's the Corner Club, and that's where Jack had gone too.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Olivia, the sister, Kaylee's sister, is launching her own investigation,
Oh,
texting everyone that Kaylee had talked to or texted that night. And they go to the grub truck afterwards. And I do remember this. I do remember hearing
yes.
Hoodie Guy.
This was familiar because I did remember seeing this on the news because
Mm-hmm.
I could handle looking at this. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So everything looks pretty normal. They get the footage and everything, but there is a guy who like approaches them and then seems to follow them when they leave. So, they're questioning him and rumors are just running rampant at this point. November 14th, one day after the murders, Jack goes to see Kaylee's parents and they're just kind of peppering him with questions because they have
Yeah.
no information at this point. And I want to say something. I don't know if this tickled you in a way, but at one point, Kaylee's dad is like, we have to keep attention on this case or it's going to go cold. I'm like, these are 4 white kids in Idaho. This is not going cold.
No.
Like, it's only been 30 days. It's not going cold. And I'm glad that it didn't. And I
Yeah.
understand where he's coming from, but it was a little bit like, that's not going to happen. Don't
But
worry.
it probably had to be really hard. Well, one, you just lost your child and you're
Mm-hmm.
mourning her best friend too.
Yeah.
Someone who
Yeah.
you have been a part of
And
their
he, and
lives.
I think like his frustration, I think a
Yeah.
better way to phrase it, maybe what he meant was like, we need more transparency. You need to
The,
tell us what's
yeah.
going on, and I need to know you're working hard on this.
And the police,
It just came out that way, that
they
I
had
didn't
to
want it to go
hold,
cold.
yeah, and they had to hold everything so
They had
close.
to. They absolutely had to because it was an
Yeah.
active investigation.
And when you're seeing how they're building out the case,
Mm-hmm.
this is really good police work. Like,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. All right. So Kaylee's grandma and aunt are in this, and they talk about rallying together, how devastated they were. I have to say, I didn't even think of this until they brought it up. All the parents think they were shot at this point. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
because
that
they
makes
think it was
total
at a
sense.
party.
They thought
Yeah.
it was a
Oh,
shooting.
as one would in America.
Unfortunately, in this country, if you're an international listener and you don't get this, I would automatically assume it was gun violence.
Yeah.
Automatically.
I think the rumor that they were hearing it was a shooting at a party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 48 hours afterwards that they were told the kids were stabbed. And Maddie and Kaylee were in bed together and stabbed with a very large 7-inch knife. This is what they are told. Again, the thought of those 2 girls probably just huddling in that bed together, terrified. It's going to keep me up at nights. Xana's dad is like, I was at this fun game. I almost stayed at their house that night, but I had a little too much to drink. And so, like, I just went home. And if I had been there, and I want to reach through the screen and hug him.
I wanted to tell him,
Like, if you
it's
were
okay.
there that night and this didn't happen, it probably just would have happened. And like, this guy, this evil person was out to do this to somebody else then.
Evil
What I mean?
came
It
to
was going to
you.
happen.
Yeah, like it was, and the way that he has, I feel like as a parent, I would feel that way too. Like I was,
I know. I know.
that really affected me. It really,
Same.
in my
Same.
heart, I just hear his voice saying it and like I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. 4 days after the murder, the news is all over this. They have no suspects, so they start spreading out. They gather all the video footage they can, and they're able to identify the hoodie guy from the food truck. And he says, Maddie got into this silver sedan, and they do interview the rideshare driver, and the rideshare driver's like, they were fine. They were not, they were alone. They were not with a hoodie guy, whatever.
Yeah. And so I was confused. This is a special rare ride share through the college. It's not Uber, correct? It's the college has this set up and
I
other
think so.
sober college students will pick you up. That's pretty cool.
I think so. I know the school where my daughter goes is in a larger city, and they have something like that.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. The national media starts arriving, and the internet sleuths, and it gets crazy. And the cops are like, "We just didn't need this." They were accusing people. There's people on TikTok saying Hoodie Guy did this or Jack did this. Jack really took the brunt of the suspicion from the internet. It's really bad.
And then some professor was like is suing some TikToker now because this TikToker tried to build out a case against the professor. It's
Yep.
like wild.
Yep. And the internet turns on Bethany and Dylan for not calling 911. And that pisses me off so much. If you're one of those people, I don't know, like go fuck off or something,
Go
because
touch
these
grass.
girls went through a living nightmare and you're piling on now? No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And they have to continue every day to
Yeah.
wake up and go to sleep and live their lives experiencing what they experienced.
Yeah, and you know who's really, really obsessed with what Bethany and Dylan did or didn't do that night? Bethany and Dylan. Trust me.
Oh,
They're thinking about it 24/7. No one can beat up on them more than they beat up on themselves, I'm sure. And they
no,
shouldn't, to be clear,
no.
but I'm sure they are.
And there's survivor's remorse. Like
Mm-hmm.
they, these poor
Mm-hmm.
girls. God, I
Yep.
hope they're
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So the police now hold a press conference and they're basically like, look, we're clearing Jack, we're clearing all these suspects. Like, this, we still don't have the person, but we can tell you that no one that we've talked to is a legitimate suspect right now.
Yeah.
We hear Jack is in a really dark place. Steve Gonzalez, like I said, Gonzalves, I can never say that name, took
Yeah.
the reins and they're like, we're keeping this in the media. And, he's just frustrated. I get that. I would be the same way.
Yeah.
They get a call from the state crime lab now that there is a single source DNA on the sheath of the knife sheath that was left at the scene.
Mm-hmm.
There's no hit in CODIS, no matches with anyone they knew, so they send it off for genetic genealogy, and it comes back fast.
Yeah. And I wondered if our girl Cece was on the case.
Oh, maybe Cece Moore.
Yeah. I feel like she had to be. She's the best.
She's the best. So meanwhile, the cops are still canvassing the area, and I did find this episode easier to watch because it was more about the
Yes.
investigation.
Yeah. It was more
And
matter of factly instead of like emotional.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're scouring the footage and they see this white sedan coming and going several times
This is
that
so
night.
creepy.
And it literally circles the block like 4 times.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then at 4:20 a.m. you see it take off. So prior to this, Xana had ordered a DoorDash delivery at 4 a.m. I'm like, I would be yelling at my daughters for this. What are you eating at 4 a.m.? Why are you eating Taco Bell at 4 a.m.? What are you doing? But it was,
Oh, but I've
probably
woken
a
up here
drunk
with my
order.
son. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And at 4:12, she's active on social media. So this is how they know that the murders occurred. This is how they narrow down the timeline.
Yeah, this is crazy.
They get a bunch of video of this car. They send it to the FBI. Now, I will tell you, I did say to my husband, Timmy, I have found the perfect job for you, Timmy. Timmy could absolutely do this,
Could he
where
do
the
this?
FBI have to look through the footage of the cars. Because he'll say to me, like, I'll say, oh, what kind of car is that? And he'll be like, that's a Subaru Forester, but it's the 3rd generation. Because in the 4th generation, they changed the headlights or the taillights
Wow.
here. This, like, he really is like, into that
That's
stuff.
pretty cool, though. I love those kind
So
of
the
things.
fact that they like have to keep trying to go through all this footage and identify this car, I'm like, he absolutely could have done this.
And it is
And
cool that there's people at the FBI who have this job.
yes.
Like, yeah.
So they narrowed down that this is a Hyundai Elantra and it's I don't know what generation this is, but it's between the years of 2011 2016. December 19th, the FBI calls with the name Brian Koberger. Oh God, this fucking guy. He attends Washington State University, which, as we know, is only 7 miles away, and he has a white Hyundai Elantra. Now, very much like it cracked the case in the Oklahoma City bombing when they got pulled over. He got pulled over a couple weeks prior, and because of that, they had his phone number.
Yep.
And they were able to get a warrant for his cell phone information, and they are narrowing it down. And like, let me just put it this way: he's their guy. There's no doubt about it. They have his phone pinging towers in Moscow many times leading in the months leading up to the murders. And then there's this one main highway that connects Pullman and Moscow, and they have him driving back and forth. But then they see that he was in the area of Kings Road many times and late at night. So previous to the date of the murders.
Yep.
And
He
then
had been to
Becca,
Moscow 22 times.
wow. Then
Yeah.
Becca, his phone goes off. He shuts off his phone on November 12th and doesn't turn it back on until 4:48 a.m. on the 13th.
I found when they're talking about the cell phone and that when they extracted the information from
Mhm.
the phone, that they know that the exact amount of battery that he had, and that they
Celebrated it,
know
yeah.
that
Mhm.
it didn't die or it didn't power off on its own, that it was shut off. Like
Mhm.
it's creepy what they can tell you by your phone.
And so at this point, you're almost like, wow, who knows to do this? Well, somebody getting a PhD in criminology knows how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, so basically, after his phone turns back on and starts pinging at 4:48 a.m., this is right after the murders, he goes a very different way home.
Yeah,
And
he
it's a
goes the long
very
way.
long route, and he goes through a lot of farmland, and they hint at he probably got rid of the knife somewhere there.
Yeah. And or we don't know what he left wearing in his home. Like, was he
Mm-mm.
wearing, what do you call those Kevlar suits? Where
Yeah, we don't know.
we don't know. Yeah.
So he becomes a suspect, but genetic genealogy is not admissible in court. So they have to build a case against him. So they have to connect the DNA on the knife to him. And on December 15, 2022, 32 days after the murder, he's pulled over in Indiana for following vehicles too closely, and his father's with him. And this guy is a fucking creep. Not the father.
No.
I don't know much about him, but
I don't know.
I got an eye on him too.
Yeah.
But Koberger, he's a fucking creep, this guy.
And he's a bad driver. He gets pulled over all the time,
Mhm,
thank God.
mhm, mhm,
But even in the video that they showed, I saw it online where he gets pulled over the first time, how they get his phone number.
mhm,
Shifty eyed. There's
mhm,
just a vibe. And then, so the police officer says, "Oh, were you wearing your seatbelt? Or did you
mhm,
take it off before I got here?" And he goes, "I'm going to
mhm.
be honest with you. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt." And then he has this whole weird conversation with the police officer. Like, if you thought I was lying, would you have gone back and checked? Like,
It's so weird.
he's just so
This
weird.
guy, I read an article in The Guardian about his new business, and we'll talk about this at the end. But like, this guy thinks he's the smartest guy in the room at all times. He is a
All times.
classic narcissist.
Oh,
But this is very like this is, this happened with Timothy McVeigh. He got pulled over. He
mm-hmm.
had a gun on him, which was illegal at the time. They threw him in jail, and he had just done the Oklahoma City bombing, and so they had him in jail.
Yeah.
And that's how they like it's so the fact that they had this guy pulled over so many times like ended up helping them to be able
Yeah.
to get these warrants and everything.
Because you get a real nice view of the car too every time.
Yeah. Yep. So, his father's with him. Now they are traveling to Koberger's family home, which is 50 miles from me. It's in the Poconos, Albrightsville. I'm sure, our co-host Amanda will know where that is as well. It's right by Jim Thorpe, where we, love to go. So the FBI are surveilling him at his house now in Pennsylvania
Mm-hmm.
to try to get discarded DNA, which is, how they got Rex Humerman. When somebody throws something out,
Yeah.
you can take it. But this weirdo is wearing gloves all the time and doesn't leave his house. I mean,
Oh.
well, I get that part, but
why the gloves?
so
Suspicious.
they do a trash pull, which is where the trash is put out to the curb, and then did you know this? That's considered abandoned when you put your trash on the curb.
No, but I find that interesting.
And
I'm
they
gonna
they
make
can
sure I
seize
note
it legally.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it like right off the curb, so they
Yeah.
can't get me.
I'm just gonna make a burn pile and burn all my trash.
There you go. In California, in San Francisco, I
Yeah.
want to see how people react to that. Just throw
Very-
some tires on there.
I live on a very busy street. Everyone will love it.
So they get there on a Tuesday at 4 a.m. to get this trash, and they see Brian Koberger walking down the street.
Yeah. They're like,
What are you doing?
He's right here. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing? There's that creepy picture of him. Oh, where? Okay, so they believe that he went back to his house and took a selfie
The next
and a thumbs
morning.
up. Yeah, it's gross.
He had, what's so weird is like when they look at his cell phone, he had like 3 contacts, never texted anyone,
Mm-mm.
but all these creepy selfies.
Yeah.
But he never sent them to anyone.
No. Episode 3 starts with they hold a press conference after notifying the families. We got a suspect. His name is Brian Koberger. He's 28 years old. Anyone who knows him, please come forward.
Yeah.
So now Jasmine, Xana's sister, is like, I went to Washington State and I'm totally fucking freaked out right now. And even her dad, Jeff, is like, I didn't feel comfortable with her being there.
Yeah.
Even
She
though I know we
says,
got the guy, it's like still weird and creepy for me.
ugh.
Yeah.
And she says something along the lines of, it weirded me out to know that I was closer to him every day than my sister was.
Yeah.
Like,
They seized his Elantra in Pennsylvania. They tore this car down to the fucking frame and they found nothing.
yeah.
This
Well,
guy was very methodical in his, except for leaving that knife sheath behind.
oh, he probably was so freaked out. He probably didn't know where it was. Oh.
So they had the video of the car, they had the DNA on the sheath, but that was it. So they find that he ordered the sheath and the K-bar knife, like they were able to see his Amazon history. He claimed that he was out alone that night stargazing. No one can back him up because no one saw him.
Yeah. Surprise.
And the footprints turned out to be a dead end. We learn about that. Olivia's still conducting her own investigation, says he did not have a social media presence. But then she finds this old account of his that talks about having visual snow, which is a neurological condition that taints your vision. And he was saying like he couldn't see people and feel what it was like to be in the real world. That to me signals mental illness. Something's going on. Not the disease itself, but like him saying, I don't know what it feels like to be in the real world is terminology that feels like, okay, maybe we need to talk to somebody.
I have a disconnect,
in my opinion,
to reality. Yeah.
We did see his high school yearbook, and he looked exactly like Jonah Hill, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
They talk about how he had a typical middle-class upbringing. Yeah. Then something happens to this guy. Like he's overweight as a kid, and then they make a big deal about saying like how obsessive he became over his body and what he put in it and what he did with it.
Yeah,
and then
he started
had a
heroin
addiction.
Yeah, it feels very weird. Like I don't disbelieve it because everyone talks about it, but
yeah,
it feels weird, doesn't like
it's
a heroin addiction?
Yeah. So in 2014, he was turned into police by his father for stealing his sister's cell phone for drugs. And after leaving rehab, he had just left rehab. And so after this, he tries to get himself a little bit together and he goes to, help me. Is it DeSales? Yeah.
DeSales, yes.
For criminology. That's where he was first, right? And we meet like a classmate of his who's like, he was super fucking weird. He was real obsessed with our professor, Dr. Ramsland. And like, it was creepy. This guy had no friends. He was like, I mean, people could have said this about me in college. She's in class early. She leaves late. She's the teacher's pet. She's real obsessed with the teacher. She has no friends. I mean, doesn't make you a killer.
The girl says like he was like, as soon as the teacher walked in the room, then he would like become alive and listen and be on the edge of his seat. And well, my son is going to school for criminology. So I told him, hey, don't be weird. Make sure you like walk in and be like, hey guys, I'm not weird.
Yeah. Make sure you have some friends with you at all times. Olivia finds a questionnaire that he posted on Reddit under the guise of research. And it's basically like, tell me how you would get away with murder.
Yeah.
Like
how
these
you
questions are real strange. Now, this doesn't get into, but I could have sworn I heard that he had some other online presence and he was using an alias and he was like on Reddit a lot using that when this investigation was happening. And they believe it was him trying to see what people were saying and stuff like that. They don't get into that in this documentary, but I remember that. Okay. And I remember that from Jody Weber's podcast.
Okay. I believe that because he's a narcissist. He wants to have his finger in it. He has now become his most favorite killer.
Yeah. Yeah. So then he got into the criminal justice PhD program at Washington University. He was a TA. The cops interview his colleagues, students. Everybody hates him. Women call him creepy. They say he was a big mansplainer. Gary Jenkins is the chief of police there at that school and says, one time Koberger walked outside with a female student and she felt like he was cornering her,
Mm.
felt threatened by him. So it's not good.
In that interview with Sky Borgman, she
Mm-hmm.
also says that she believes that he targeted that house because he was watching it and he knew it was a house full of girls, a house full of women. And there's a lot of online discussion about like him being a woman hater. And
Okay. Yeah.
it was nice to know though that the FBI has incels and the manosphere on their
Yeah.
radar.
Yes. Because we talk about, is he an incel, involuntarily celibate, really breeds a lot of hatred for women. So they get all his computers, devices. He was very careful. He had wiped everything. But Celebrate comes in and they're like, wait a minute, motherfuckers. We'll figure this out.
Yeah. I like these too.
And
I've seen them in some other things.
yeah. And they get, they find that he only had like 10 contacts or something crazy. He always used incognito browsing, but then they're able to find some stuff. And like the browser searches are for like serial killers, psychopath paranoia. And then they say it was the absence of data on his phone that actually helped show that he was like premeditated this, like he wanted to hide when this was happening. The night of the murders, he turned off his phone. It was charged at 100%, so he had to have pressed that button and turn it off. Ed Jacobson runs through exactly what happened in the house. I don't have this. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Really hard to listen to. But, what you need to know is he terrorized these children. He really did. And it's disgusting. And then, like I said, at 10:31 the next day, he takes the selfie with his thumb up in the air. Now, what did you think about the school's decision to tear down the house?
I see both sides. I could see why you don't, as the school, you don't want a visual reminder to incoming students and families that this tragedy happened here. Let's be honest, that's the school's.
Yeah.
And
many students, in the school's defense, many students lobbied for this house to be torn down.
But as the parent, I could see why can't we just wait till it goes to trial? Or at least till there's because you don't know. What if we do need this house? What if they want to walk through it for the jury, or
wait until the trial's done.
Yeah.
Always don't get rid of the evidence.
It's a
Christy
tough one.
and Steve are so upset by this. And Christy said, oh God, Christy again, she just gets me. She says, my daughter died in that house, but she also lived in that house.
Yeah. She said she laughed, she cried, she took her last breath. Like she goes, it's not a place of sadness. Like it's a lot. It's someone's like, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
They moved the trial to Boise and they set the date for August 18th. They were going to go for the death penalty. But Brian Koberger did not have a trial because he pleaded guilty in July 2025 to avoid the death penalty and received 4 consecutive life sentences without parole. This meant they would never know the motive. And you know what? I understand needing to search for meaning in this.
Why'd you kill my daughter? Yeah, like why mine? Why mine?
Really think, and if there's any parents of kids this age or younger out there listening to this and you're like, horrified by this, like we all are, you have to understand, like this is rare. This doesn't happen every day in college. There's millions of college students across this country who go every day and they're very safe.
Yes.
This was one very bad man who did a very bad thing, and it was a very big tragedy. But like you can't let it unravel you to think that's going to happen to your kids. Do you know what I mean?
Because the moment we start to live in fear like that, we've allowed him to win. We've allowed evil to win, where something horrible happened, but we have to move on. Like we have to, and just because this house is here doesn't mean we're not moving on.
Right.
But why couldn't they have like put a big fence up?
So I want to know, like, were they having problems with vandals? Were kids going in there? Ironically, the school name is Vandals. You know what I'm talking about. But were they having like situations with actual vandals going
Yeah.
in there and like, I don't know, doing
You know,
stuff.
or like people going in with like trying to like with a Ouija board type of thing, you know,
Mhm.
how college kids
Mhm.
are.
Yep. So there is my point is there is no motive. He just
No,
wanted to do
he
this.
just wanted to
And
kill.
if it wasn't your kid, it would have been somebody else's kid. Like this guy just wanted to do this. He's evil. Like he's
Yeah.
a monster.
And if it wasn't that night, it would have been one night. He would have,
Yeah.
he would have done this. Like,
Yeah.
um, you know what's something I didn't know? I I thought he had lived there a long time. He had just moved there in June.
Yeah. He did only one semester as a
Like
TA.
the timeline, like the timeline of this whole thing of just not the night, but
Mhm.
leading up to it is,
Mhm.
I don't know. Everything
Yeah.
just like, I
Yeah.
don't know, hard to explain what I'm thinking.
The families are so devastated. Steve and Christy are very vocal. They wanted the
Yeah.
death penalty. They say jail is daycare. We're not happy with this. Xana's sister says some of the families were okay with it. They wanted to just start to heal. They didn't want to live through a trial. Um, Jeff, Xana's dad, said he should have to tell us why. Like that should have been part of the deal. And I kind of that made sense to me. Even though I
Yes.
just went on a big tangent about how there is no motive. If that's what these parents need, that's what you give them. Even
Yeah,
if he
like,
says, I really have no reason, they needed to hear that.
yeah, I
I
just
realize
wanted to
I'm
kill.
contradicting myself in
I
real time.
know.
I'm
That's how
sorry.
we are.
Hmm.
But no, it's yeah. He Why didn't Brian have to make some sort of like statement?
Concession.
Like,
Yeah.
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 Why did he get all the power?
Yeah. And if you watch the day of sentencing, like he only had to say yes.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say, I killed them. He didn't have to say their names.
No.
I wouldn't want him to say their names. But you know what
No.
I mean? Like he just had to say yes. Oh, I would have a lot of problems with this.
He feels to me so smug and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, he thinks he's the smartest person sitting on that table. Ugh, I don't like him.
So the day of sentencing, the families gather together. I'm going to be very honest with you. I could not watch the victim impact statements. I
I
could not
did.
watch any of this. I was sobbing at this point. Like
Yeah.
when this was over, I had to go out on my porch and sit there for like 30 minutes and just cry, just let myself cry.
Oh, my eyes were so red at the end. Like I did.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the bathroom and just stood there and kind of sobbed and just like
Mm-hmm.
actually cried into a towel, like kind of like a
Yeah.
bit much,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was me.
Yeah. Well, it's us.
Yeah.
So you watched the victim impact
I
statements?
did. I felt like I wanted to see who spoke that day
Mm-hmm.
and
Dylan
um
spoke. I did see that and she was sobbing.
oh,
Mm.
it was and I found out that Olivia's impact statement was amazing. We've all heard bits and pieces of it,
Mm-hmm.
but if you listen to the whole thing, and she memorized it because
Wow.
she didn't want to have to, she wanted to look at him and look at him in the eyes.
That girl's
And
a badass, man. She's going to change this world in some way. She's a
oh,
badass.
yeah. And she said, not in this, but I watched an interview with her. And she said, the world looks at me like this strong, badass woman,
Mm-hmm.
but I see desperation. And
Mm.
I see someone so desperate and
Mm.
so like, yeah, I don't, it came out of desperation, not because she
Yeah.
wanted to be this badass or be like the voice. It was like she
Yeah.
was so desperate for her sister and to understand.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, and we hear, we cover a lot of true crime.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times, especially when young women are killed, there's sexual assault or something or a pattern of stalking. And so, like, you're like, okay, this person became obsessed with them.
Yeah.
But like, there's not that here. There might be stalking. We're not 100% sure. We just don't like, and that's what Christy and Steve and Jeff and all of these people want. Like, they just want to know why my kid,
Yeah.
you're like, why my kid out of all of these kids? And I couldn't listen to the victim impact statements because what happens to me is I will take on that pain and I will become obsessed with it. I will let
Yeah.
it tear me down. I will want to go to their houses. I
Yeah.
will want to hug them. I will want to like, and I can't let myself go there.
No,
I'm not ready for it yet.
it's when Steve, Kaylee's dad, how they had the podium was kind of to the side,
And he
and he
turned it.
picks it up, and it's like really, you can tell it's like, it's strong, like wood
Mm-hmm.
podium thing, and it's real loud, and it's like, I'm here, motherfucker. You're gonna
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I just have so much. Even the parents who didn't do a
So
victim
much
impact
empathy for
statement,
the kids.
to me, a parent not giving a victim impact statement is the victim impact statement.
Yeah, I agree.
You've taken everything from me. I have nothing left to say.
And the vicarious trauma that these surviving roommates, friends, this whole
Siblings.
community will feel from this. Like, this man destroyed a community.
Yeah.
I think they're strong enough to rebuild. They will,
Yeah.
but it's just what a monster. So we end with the chief saying, well, we don't end, but the chief wraps up his part and says, we had a lot of trauma, all of us first responders, and I had to seek counseling. And he says, for law enforcement officers, that's a difficult thing to admit,
Yeah.
and we will not forget. And then we get this beautiful montage at
Oh,
the end of the kids alive. And I
yeah.
loved that part. You see them, on social media, you see them making little videos with each other. Like, it's so beautiful. And that's, I thought, a great way to cap this off.
Yeah. And I wish I wrote his name down. I feel horrible. I don't have his name. He's the friend at the end of the documentary, and he's talking about that song
Yeah.
that him and Ethan would sing together.
Yeah.
And he has mentioned that's like a real core memory for him, because in a lot of
Yeah.
interviews he's mentioned that. And I saw him in this documentary. It's the first time I've really seen him, but then I've seen him in now interviews saying the same thing, and he looks so much better today. Like, I feel like all
Yeah.
of the parents and the friends in this documentary look like they're healing. They like just the
Yeah.
physicalness of them. Like,
Yeah. I agree.
and I hope that they are. I feel like I'm angry now that this guy is changing his mind. Like, now he wants to say,
Okay.
just kidding. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. But then is that a good thing? It will go back to trial, and he'll have to like all the evidence will come out, and he'll have to say why he tried it. Like,
So let me tell you what's happening. This
yeah,
is just a little
please.
clip from The Guardian. So at the trial, right, when it happened, let me back up a little bit. Okay, a new trial could grant the wishes of family members who hope to see the 31-year-old doctoral criminology student convicted by a jury in open court and sentenced to death. Or is Koberger simply following the example of many mass murderers in attempting to gain control of the narrative and extend the suffering of his victims' families?
Oh,
I'm sure, I want to make sure. Now, this is what happened when he was in trial, okay? In July that year, when he was in court getting his sentencing. I want to make sure that your plea is given voluntarily. ADA County District Judge Stephen Hippler had asked Koberger in court last summer. I want to make sure that you actually committed the crimes to which you're pleading guilty, because I don't want you to plead guilty to a crime you didn't commit. So this is what the judge says to him. I think that's pretty clear.
that's pretty clear.
And this, by all accounts, this man working on a PhD, he's coherent, he understands things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He has reading, writing skills. He's
Mm-hmm.
working on a PhD.
Are you pleading guilty before you are guilty? Hippler asked Koberger at the hearing before twice reading the specific murder charge tied to each of the four victims. Yes, Koberger responded. Yet in a ruling on Wednesday, this is from August 2nd. In a ruling on Wednesday, Hippler granted Koberger's request for a new court-appointed counsel days after he filed a written petition seeking to withdraw the guilty plea he had entered in exchange for prosecutors dropping the death penalty. He now alleges that his attorneys misrepresented death row by fabricating a story about their horrific experience touring the portion of the state's maximum security prison, and claimed he was advised to lie and told he would gain a legal victory by entering a false plea. Can you believe this right now? So
No.
basically, here's what happened. You're Koberger, I'm your lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Brian, I just got back from touring Death Row. It's wild. You do not want to go there. 2 out of 10 do not recommend. And
Yeah.
so you're like, okay, yeah, I'll plead guilty then and spend the rest of my life in jail because I don't want to go over there. This is ridiculous. Koberger further claimed that his attorneys had failed to disclose what he has said was exculpatory, which is my favorite word, discovery, including the in a recent book, Broken Plea, that claimed there were chain of custody issues relating to the sheath of the 7-inch knife Koberger used to kill his victims and was left at the
No.
scene. Now, I want to talk about this for a second because this is not a Stephen Avery situation where they're like, Brian Koberger is our suspect. And,
Yep.
oh, look, we found this thing and it has
Yep.
this DNA on it. The DNA was unknown and led them to this man.
And there is Amazon records that he purchased this item. He probably just wants to see it again. Do you know what I mean?
I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
And there is from what I understand, because I do not watch these videos, there is one white dude on TikTok proclaiming his innocence and like trying to lead a movement.
I know.
Sit back down, sir.
Koberger told the New York Times, which the New York Times got a lot of pushback for giving this dickbag a voice, that he was breaking his silence because, quote, a lot went wrong in those plea discussions. And I really do want that to be heard. So the Guardian writes, the legal avenue open to Koberger is not an appeal against his conviction for the murders of Ethan, Kaylee, Xana, and Madison, because he wasn't, convicted.
Okay.
He waived that right as part of his plea deal, but it would have to be a civil petition for post-conviction relief. And we know from watching Making a Murderer how difficult that is. So I don't think he's going to get this.
This guy just wanted his name back in the news. He was bored. He has a lifetime of death row to torture these people for the rest of his life.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Cannot stand. Oh.
I will say that they quote this clinical and forensic psychologist in this article, Rachel Tolles, her name is, and she says, attention is currency. And Koberger is seeking that attention and he's seeking that currency. And he may be stuck in an obsessive loop that thinking he could outsmart everyone by committing the perfect crime. And now that he's in jail, he's probably telling himself if he can outsmart people with a new trial and win, he is like the best. So it's issues of ego, power, and control that often define serial killers or mass murderers, this psychologist says. And I think that's a great point. Yep. This is all about attention because he thought he was committing the perfect crime. He thought, he would get all this notoriety, and then he pleads guilty and he just goes away, right?
Yeah, no one cares.
And we're focusing on the victims now.
Yeah.
And so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just disgusted.
Idaho Attorney General Raul Labrador said in a statement, "My office stands ready to do whatever is necessary to ensure justice is carried out."
Good. I don't even think the news should cover it. I don't think we should even be talking about it. Who cares?
Exactly. So guys, let me know, when we do a big case like this that's close to our heart, that we like to do a charitable donation. So let us know if you have some suggestions for that. Leave them in our Facebook group. It's facebook.com/murder she watched, I think. I don't know. It's in the show notes of this episode.
And I know a lot of the parents and a lot of the friends have gone on now since they've graduated college to open up nonprofits. There's Ethan Smiles. I'm kind of thinking about buying some of the tulips.
Okay.
They're sold out right now, but I might put some in my garden. There's Maddie Mayday. There's Made with Kindness, which is organization that's ran by two of Maddie's friends and Xana's friends, excuse me. There's quite a few, and I want to do something, but I don't know who to.
I'm going to make a donation on behalf of all couch detectives. So if you're moved by this case and, money's tight, you don't want to, you can't afford to throw money at this, I'll do it for you. for your generous support, for supporting our show. This is what I like to do when we do a big case. So please let me know. We also have a Patreon where we do true crime headlines twice a month now, and I'm really enjoying it. And Becca, you and I will keep up with this case, and if there's, something going on with him, we'll talk about it there. Kyla and I just recorded, oh God, Kyla had like such a detailed timeline of the Lindsay Clancy case.
Oh, yes. Kyla and I are maybe
Bonded for life.
thinking about sharing a Word doc. We are clocking in every day on the case. We're keeping each other updated. We have an eye on it, and we may have the same eye, which,
Well, that's good because you and I will be doing our true crime headlines next week. And so if there's any updates, maybe you can share them with us.
And I also, just to warn everyone who knows me, may also have a new crush that is related to this situation.
Does his name rhyme with Beddington?
Maybe.
I bet. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this. Thank you for suggesting it. Like you said, Becca, it was important that we get to know this case in some way.
Yeah, and I feel really good. I was feeling anxious because I was holding it all in, and now that we've talked about it, I feel really good.
I agree. There was something cathartic about watching this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but this is going to stick with me for a while, for sure.
Yeah. I thought it was, besides, a few of my issues with the body cam footage.
Sure.
I thought it was centered around the victims and really beautifully done.
Yeah. Same. All right, guys, if you want more from us, please join Murder Club. You can do that by going to patreon.com/murdershewatch. The link is in the show notes, where we're doing a lot of deep diving on Casey Anthony this month, and we're also doing our true crime headlines.
Oh, you guys in the Casey Anthony, I am in it. I was in the garden the other day listening to you guys rage. It was wonderful.
Yeah, we're working out a lot of stuff over there. Yeah. For sure.
Kyla texted me and said she watched something and now she was all sweaty and worked up. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, Becca. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey.
Thank you for asking me to do this with you. I actually do appreciate it. I'm glad I watched it.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.